this is Phil from the Greater Toronto Music School. I'm back with part 2 of my lesson on the pentatonic scale and its applications, and today we're actually going to be getting into the blues scale a little bit. Make sure to tune in every week for a new lesson from the Greater Toronto Music School. Let's just get right into it. So the pentatonic scale, we went over it last week. We have our major scale, our minor, and they're both five notes, and we learn them in two positions, or one position right now. We're about to learn it in a second position. Then the second position is going to be a root 5, meaning that the root that we're starting on is on the 5th string. So we did it to start. We're doing A minor and C. So we may as well stick with A minor and C still. So we're gonna start off with A minor, and that's going to be up at the 12th fret, and it's going to be like this. Our major shares the exact same notes. It just is starting on and ending on the different notes. So that was A minor, and the relative major is C, right? So that's going to be like this. Okay, cool. So, make sure to check out the tabs and the notation that I provide, and you'll get all the notes written out for you in notation as well as tab. And it's really important to to know what you're playing. So learn those notes. Learn that, what each note is. We have A, we're starting on A here. We go A, C, D, E, G, A. Those are the 5 notes in the pentatonic, minor pentatonic. And then it's the same notes for the major, okay? So, knowing that, we can add one note to this scale and make it a blues scale. Say again, it's the same note for both minor and major. We're gonna do we're gonna do a minor blues and the major blues. So here, check it out. So we'll go back to the position from last week in 5th position. We're going. This is our pentatonic scale. Now we're going to add in the blues note, which is what is called the flat 5. Okay, so it's going to be. And back. Scale is great because it gives you this extra note that you can play with and make. You'll hear it all the time in famous songs and famous riffs. Like one that comes to mind immediately is "Sunshine of Your Love," and I'm going to play it in the same key that we've been doing it. In reality, it's in a different key. It's a D usually, but we're going to do it in A right now just to show you the riff, and just because it uses these same notes. Blues scale, pure blues scale. There's tons and tons of different riffs and licks that use this scale. So you should really get to know it really well because it is probably the most used tool in a rock or blues player's arsenal. Okay, so that's the minor blues, and let's take another look at it again. So it's A, C, D, flat, E, G, A, and then it repeats. And it adds this element of it allows you to play a more vocal melody, you could take that as a lick right there. It's just literally just going down from the flat 5 down the scale. So these are huge if you want to learn how to do solos and like learn how to solo in a blues like style, or even like jazz takes from the blues, like everything takes from the blues. So learn this scale backwards and forwards, learn it in different patterns like we did with the pentatonic. You do your patterns of 3 and 4, and just really internalize it. So that's our minor blues. Now we're going to take a look at the major blues, and we're actually going to keep the same blues note there, and it allows us to get this kind of like, it's like a bluesier major sound. Because we're going to get into it in a second, but what I really like to do is I like to mix my major and minor blues scales when I'm soloing. So I'm a lot of the time not just playing one, I'm playing both. But we'll get to that in 1 second. So let's go over this scale again. So it's just your major pentatonic with that extra note. So C, D, E flat, G, A, C. So what it does there is it gives you the flat 3 as well as the major 3. So you get this like really nice chromaticism or bluesy sound in there. So it's like, and this is where it kind of like, mixing the minor and major blues comes in, is having this flat 3 in there kind of has you playing that minor sound. Okay, so let's go over those in the, so we did the new positions of the pentatonic scale today. So let's just go over those one more time. It's going to be, that's going to be like, there's 2 blues, like it's, since it's in 2 octaves, there are 2 places we have to add it. So that's the first place. So that's our minor blues. Major blues is the same thing, remember, it's going to, and so now it's going to be starting from the pinky here. And that riff that I'm playing is actually taken from, and the way I'm playing it is taken from Sir Duke by Stevie Wonder. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, so it's just very cliche, it's used all over the place. So just to recap, we did major and minor pentatonics. We added the blues note to both of those. So make sure to get comfortable with them and start hearing how they would apply, like work over the chords that they go with. So like, just an example, like the A minor pentatonic we've been doing, or A minor blues, goes really well with A minor 7 or A minor, whichever minor chord you want to do. Works perfectly over that, and with the same C major pentatonic works over the C chord really well. C, C7, and the thing is like, if you're playing, let's say you're playing over a C7, just for example, a great thing to try out would be mixing your C major blues and your C minor blues. So that means, using this scale, and also using this. So not only are you getting the flat 3, you're getting the major 3, and it allows you to play in this really nice bluesy style. You can be very emotive. You can get you can really outline the chord, but then you can also switch to this really bluesy style. So like, if I'm playing over that major chord, I might start off my idea with like using that major 3rd and going, and then I'll continue up. Or I might end with the major and start with the minor, so I do like a, right now I'm just kind of switching positions. Ideally you'll be able to do them both in the same position. Like if I want to switch in the same position, I might go like. So there's a lot of the same position, but I was switching scales, which is really, it's a bit more of an advanced concept, but like once you get really comfortable with these like positions that I've shown you, you can learn the connecting position. So it's like we did A minor pentatonic here. You can also do it down here. You could do it up here. Might not be starting on the root down on the low E, but you can do it in this position too, or in this position. We want to be comfortable anywhere on the neck. And like a good way to actually approach that is in like little groupings of 4 notes. We'll call them like little cells. So like 4-note groupings, like, you know, like those are all little 4-note groupings, and it allows you to move in a more horizontal way on the guitar as opposed to like vertical. So we did minor pentatonic, major pentatonic, minor blues, major blues, and now there's one more thing, and this is going to be a bit more of an advanced concept. So if it's a bit much for you, don't worry about it. It'll come with time. But there's a couple so we can think of a mixture of the major pentatonic or major blues, minor blues, and we can also add in I guess when you mix the two together, you do get most of these notes. But here, let me show you this thing. I like to call it the the Mixolydian blues scale. So it's mixing 2 scales and the blues scale. So we're gonna take we're gonna start on C, and it's gonna be C, D, E flat, D, F, F sharp, G, A, B flat, C. So it's like 9 of the 11 notes, but it allows you to kind of dance around the harmony in a really interesting way. I'm going to throw up a tab for this scale, and you can dig into it. But it allows you to play in a way that gives you the major, the minor, and then all of the other notes that sound good. Like as some are better as passing notes, as like just like the blues note. You don't want to hang on that, but it's a very interesting scale. Like here, I'll just do a little riffing in that tonality, and you can kind of hear what I mean. So it's something like. So it's dancing around the major, it's dancing around the minor, it's got the blues, it's got everything. So this is the majority of when I'm playing, and I'm using this. So this is a really juicy information. So make sure to check out the tab for that. Learn it really well. And remember, practice all this stuff with a metronome. Metronome is hugely important. Practice it with backing tracks. Find a good, or record yourself playing a chord progression and play over it. And remember which, we'll talk more in the next lesson about how to figure out what pentatonic to play over what chord progression, because that's really important too. Is knowing how to apply these to actual solos, how to use them to write riffs. So keep practicing. We'll see you next week with another episode. Make sure you hit the like button, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed it. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next week.